Hey there! In this video I wanted to show you where I'm at with this male torso that we started in the last video. But I wanted to show you a tool that I use that would be really helpful, I think, for you guys as well. It's something that I've used quite a lot recently, and you'll see why it's so effective, helping you to check your own work, to kind of self-critique. And so this actually might be more useful to you, and for sculptors and illustrators, it might be more helpful than if I critiqued your own stuff, if you sent me and I did a drawing over an image, because it'll help you to be able to critique your own work with yourself just using your phone and an app. And I'll give you a couple options of different apps to use, some of them free. One of them is a paid app, but it works really well, and that's why I prefer that one. And so let's get into it. Okay, so you can see that I've made a lot of changes to the sculpture, and I wanted to show you first this app. Let's get this in focus. So this is the app. It's Vinci Eye, and it looks like that. Well, this is the app that I use to check my own work, and it's pretty straightforward. It's for drawing, and so you just go, you choose an image. So I'd just go to the images that I've saved, my reference photos, and then I just use the classic mode. And then what it does is it gives an overlay. It's an overlay of the scene with the image. So this is my reference image, and then I'm able to overlay that. By using this, I can just go right up to the sculpture and check the accuracy of the sculpture. And I noticed as soon as I did this the first time, I should have done it earlier on in the process. I should have done it during the first hour video, because it's really important to have that gesture and everything in place right from the beginning. One thing that I noticed as soon as I did it was that the hips were way too thin and way too low on the figure. And what I did was, just by using this app, I went through and then just laid in some clay on this outside silhouette, and I just built out the silhouette right there. And then once the silhouette was in place, then I could go around and make those adjustments and redo some of the anatomy. And so with this, usually I'll check it from the front view, and then from the side view, and from the back view, and then maybe the other side, and just those 4 points helps me to get an understanding if I capture the gesture accurately, and if the forms, if the anatomy is in roughly the right place. Another thing that you can do is you can use another app that just allows you to overlay images. And so there's a lot of apps, many free apps that let you do this. And so if you don't want to purchase the DaVinci app, if you want to use another app, you can use an app like Adobe Fresco that just allows you to import images. And so you can take an image of the sculpture, and you have to try to get the image to be the same angle and the same the same focus as the reference image. Because if it's taken from a higher angle or a lower angle, then it won't match up exactly, and it won't be as useful to be able to compare the two references. But if you do have it, then you can take the two references and just overlay the images, and then change the opacity on the image that's in front, and that way you can check the same way. You can check the gesture and the accuracy of different parts of the sculpture from whichever angle you choose. And so that's another way to check yourself and to kind of give a self-critique. And it's very accurate, it's very easy, and it works great. And so I recommend doing this. All of your sculptures, if you're trying to get a more realistic look, if you're not trying to exaggerate any of the features and you want it to be pretty consistent, then you do this early on in the process to check that silhouette from at least 4 angles: the front, the side, and the back. Once I've checked it and that it's pretty accurate, then I can deviate from what I'm seeing a little bit more. For example, I think on this sculpture, I'll probably end up making it a little bit more muscular and defined and a little bit different than the reference images. And so I want to modify the sculpture, but just getting the pose right from the beginning will help me as I build on those secondary forms of the anatomy. And so I hope that helped you guys. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like me to talk about in the future, just let me know. And thank you for being a subscriber. I really appreciate it. And so I'll try to keep producing things that are helpful and useful to you guys as you try to create great works of art. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.